Hi, let's read 10 Red Apples by Pat Hutchins. Ten red apples. These pictures look like little wooden dolls. It's pretty interesting pictures. 10. 10 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Let's count the apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Horse came and ate one. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Nay, nay, fiddle-dee-dee. Horse, cried the farmer, save some for me. 9. 9 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cow came and ate one. Munch, munch, munch. Moo, moo, fiddle-dee-dee. Cow, cried the farmer, save some for me. 8 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Donkey came and ate one. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Hee-haw, fiddle-dee-dee. Donkey, cried the farmer, save some for me. 7. 7 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Goat came and ate one. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Ma, ma, fiddle-dee-dee. Goat, cried the farmer, save some for me. 6. 6 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Pig came and ate one. Snort, snort, snort. Oink, oink, fiddle-dee-dee. Pig, cried the farmer, save some for me. 5. 5 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sheep came and ate one. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Bah, bah, fiddle-dee-dee. Sheep, cried the farmer, save some for me. 4 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Goose came and ate one. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Hiss, hiss, fiddle-dee-dee. Goose, cried the farmer, save some for me. 3 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. 1, 2, 3. Duck came and ate one. Pick, pick, pick. Quack, quack. Fiddle-dee-dee. Duck, cried the farmer, save some for me. 2 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Hen came and ate one. Peck, peck, peck. Cluck, cluck, fiddle-dee-dee. Hen, cried the farmer, save one for me. 1 red apple hanging on the tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Good, said the farmer, you saved one for me. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. No red apples, see 0. No red apples hanging on the tree. My, fiddle-dee-dee. No red apples to bake in a pie. Fie, fiddle-dee-fee. This is the farmer's wife. Look, cried the farmer, another apple tree, and they all go running. More red apples hanging on a tree. Yippee fiddle-dee-dee. Good, cried the farmer's wife. You saved them for me. Yippee fiddle-dee fee. So she did get to make her apple pie after all. The end.